You're listening to the Awesome Impact B2B Sales Podcast. Each episode, we will share insights, strategies, and mindsets needed to not just meet, but consistently exceed your goals and truly make an awesome impact in your market. Let's get started. Everybody, welcome back. This is actually part two of a podcast that originally we thought we were going to be able to wrap up in 30 minutes, but I tell you, there's so much rich material here, and Bryan was nice enough to stay on and record this second session with us, so we're calling this part two with Bryan Flanagan. And the next question I had for you was, why do salespeople miss the chance to sell value?
Several reasons. Number one, they haven't identified what value they sell. This is a great exercise for a sales team or an individual. Make a T-bar on a piece of paper. On the one side, list all the things you sell. List 3 of the things you sell. And again, I do this all of my training clients. List 3 things that you sell. I sell myself. I sell my products. I sell my services. I sell my brand. Okay. Some say I sell audits, I sell HVAC, I sell financial instruments, whatever it is. Okay, good. Next column, what do your customers want? Oh, they want peace of mind. They want trust. They want communication. They want ROI. Wait a minute, let's look. Your lists don't match. What do you mean my list don't match? Well, you said you were selling insurance and they wanted peace of mind. Well, that's a trick question. No, it's not a trick question. And the reason I say that is that I thought I turned this off. My bad. The reason I say that,
it's quite all right,
is that if you're on a comp plan, the question is, how much money do you make on a sale you almost close? 0. You get real close. So what has to happen is you've got to move out of where you live into where the customer lives. And they live on the side of the page of what they want. If you can find out what they want, then you shorten the sales cycle. And as you're presenting this, as you're going through this, that's when you're building value, because the first column is functionality. The second column is values. I value ROI. I value ease of operation. I value peace of mind. Well, Mr. Prospect, as we enter into this, I'm going to show you how you can go home at 5 o'clock in the afternoon and not 7:30. I'm going to give you the assurances that this saves time, effort, and money so that you can be more of a family man. You can be more of a husband and a daddy. Well, I'll pay for that. But if I'm selling insurance, I got insurance. Well, how about financial advisor? I got a financial advisor. So what is it that makes you happy with these people? And that's what you sell to. That's their value. Now, I didn't know that for many years. That's an acquired skill. I think that the people that are the best salespeople are the ones that are trained. A lot of people are trying to sell before they're trained to sell. And I always say this about natural-born salespeople. I was a natural-born talker, but not a natural-born salesperson. I don't trust natural-born salespeople, nor do I trust a natural-born cardiologist. I don't want a natural-born cardiologist ad-libbing through my chest cavity. I want somebody that's prepared, that's structured, that understands the business, that invests in themselves. That's a doctor I want to go to. That's a salesperson I want to sell my home or sell me insurance. And oftentimes,
so let me.
Sure.
No, go ahead. I want to hear.
And the reason we miss selling value is that when we don't sell value, we have to defend our price. So if you learn to sell value, you don't have to defend your price as often or as deep, but value is what they buy. Like you said, the emotional attachment. Why have you ever lost a sale where you've been low bid? Have you ever won a sale? Have you ever won a sale where you've been high bid? It's not about the money. It's that intangible that you create with the relationship with the person.
Yeah, I just wanted to go off on a little tangent when you talked about training and what are you seeing in your 40 plus years in this industry. Has it changed? I mean, is there more of an investment in training now? Is it more in-house? Is it more done with organizations? How does training look mid-sized companies to large corporations?
Let me give you an
What does the
example.
landscape look like?
Let me tell you, when I was in Carrollton, Texas, making a sales call. I got there early, which is really difficult for me to get someplace early. But I got there early. I said, "I'm here to see Mr. So-and-so." Well, hold on a second. When at 4 o'clock, he'll come out. So I looked around the lobby, and there was a mission statement and the value statement. And one of the things that I noticed, we put people first.
First.
It was listed fourth. When the guy comes out, we sit down and we talk. Yeah, I want to invest in my people. We invest in them all the time. What type of things do you send them to? Oh, we send them to those public seminars with $49. So you got 150 people in a seminar, and you send your salespeople for $49. Well, when he said they put people first and was listed fourth on the outside on the wall, that was true, because he wasn't putting people first. He was putting expenses first. And what I found is that the companies that continue to grow invest in their people. The companies that have a product that sells and not the salesperson, because some products, they don't need a salesperson. They have them, but they don't really need them because the product is so strong. Technology, phone, smartphone, whatever it is. But the people, the businesses that want to grow and grow their people are the ones that I'm after. Those are my prospects. It's changed.
That's across the spectrum. Yeah, I was just going to say, how does that change over the years? Yeah.
Well, the process has changed because we used to bring information on products and on solutions. They can find that now online. What we have to do now is bring our expertise and understanding how to match what they know into what they need. Another thing that's changed is the process has slowed down because there are more committees involved. There are more panelists. There are more, you three guys go find out what we need. And that slows it down. Yet it's still, where's your pain and how can I help you ease that pain? That hasn't changed. I got great digital marketing skills. Oh, really? What do you say when you get there? Oh, I have no idea. That hasn't changed. You need to have something to ask or say once you get there. How we get there has changed. But you see, we've lost salesmanship in this country. Not the bad part of salesmanship where it's peddlers, but the ability to take pride in what you do. You said earlier, it's a noble profession. Selling has taken me around the world, provided me a chance to put my children in the college of their choice versus where dad could afford to send them. But I was raised the same way you were. Think about this. Our mothers raised us the same way. Don't talk to strangers. Don't ask people for money. So we go into sales. It's counterintuitive. It's an unnatural act. Therefore, you've got to learn the process. You've got to learn the nuances of selling. And most people don't take the time to do that.
Yeah. So you mentioned value, selling that value. How would they improve on that technique or that part of their selling
There's
skill?
something that your viewers could start today. 3 words. There are more than 3, but here are 3 words that are selling words. If you want to separate professional selling from professional visiting, these 3 words: values, advantages, and benefits. When you're using those words in a conversation, or even if you're texting or emailing, values, advantages, and benefits are selling words. Mr. Prospect, one of the values we offer, Mr. Prospect, our current clients are taking advantage of. Whatever comes after that's going to be powerful. You'll like this because it benefits you in follow up with whatever. But oftentimes we say these things and we don't explain them. I have a nice pen around here. I can't find it, but I've got a writing instrument that has a cap on it, and it has a clip on the cap, and it holds it firmly to your shirt pocket. Well, who wants a pen that holds? That's not a benefit. That's a function. So if you want to save money, I'm going to say this pen holds it firmly, this clip holds it firmly to your shirt pocket so you don't lose it. The benefit to you is you save money because you don't lose it. Well, wait, I want to save time. This clip holds it firmly to your shirt pocket. The value, the advantage, the benefit to you is you always know where it is. You're not looking for a pen. Saves you time and hassle. I want to look good in the business world. When you take this pen out to sign contracts, it'll give you the professional image you want. I'm not selling a writing instrument. I'm selling something that helps you move forward. And that's why we don't take it to the logical conclusion. We give a feature and a function, and then we expect the customer to add the benefit as opposed to our adding the benefit. We need to add the benefit.
Fill in the blanks. Yeah.
Fill in the blanks. Good.
And that doesn't happen.
Yeah. Fill in the blanks is good. Yeah. I'm going to get a cup of coffee. Fill in the blanks.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I think value is something that we really have to internalize with the products that we sell. So we've gotten into discussions over the years of, the technology for XYZ, it's just become a commodity, right? Well, there are 4 competitors that make what we make, and we're pretty much all the same, but are we? When you look at the organizations behind each of those products, that's where you really start to pick apart the value. And it's an exercise, right? You have to list it. I like those 3 words, right? You have to be able to exercise in understanding your value and then be able to articulate it. What do you see? Is it practice? Is it role play? Is it,
Well, first
I
of all,
know every time
it's stop being prideful and ask for help. Salespeople, and Zig has said this for many years, all salespeople are manic depressive. For your younger audience members, they're bipolar. When they're selling and making money, they grin so broadly they could eat a banana sideways. And when they're not selling, they get so depressed they look like a picture on their driver's license. So some people don't reach out because selling for a lot of people is very personal. They can't tell you how they do it. And that's not the guy I want. I want the guy that knows he knows. This did not come naturally for me. I know that I know. And I know when I'm bad at it, and I can get back to knowing what to do to make it better. So one of the things that people need to do is reach out, ask somebody, how did you learn this? What book did you read? What did you listen to? Which podcast did you plug into? Don't be hesitant to ask for help. I think that's the first step. I had to admit, I didn't know this stuff. When I was promoted from Baton Rouge, Louisiana to Dallas, Texas, I was promoted to be a sales instructor at IBM's National Training Center, which was my dream job in my division. That's what I wanted because I have a teacher's heart. I wanted to be a high school basketball coach. Mm-hmm. I was a sales instructor who couldn't sell, had no confidence in my ability to sell. Those who can do, those who can't teach. Those who can't teach sales. I get to one main place in downtown Dallas. I'm on a staff with 24 people. Catherine's from Chicago, Linda's from New York, Ryan was from Seattle. And as Zig would say, I was a little guy from a little town. And one of my buddies said, go out and buy this book, See You at the Top by a guy named Zig Ziglar. Now, this is 47 years ago. One page on the original edition, one page on page 48, one sentence. You cannot consistently perform in a manner that's inconsistent with the way you see yourself. You can't perform here consistently if you see yourself here consistent. And we called it inferiority complex. Now they call it the imposter syndrome. But I had it, whatever it was. So what Zig Ziglar was telling me in his book, Flanagan, let's raise your deserve level. Follow some of the principles, some of the practices I espouse, and you'll be okay. And 2 years later, I go to the largest branch office in our division as their sales manager. What changed? Bryan more than the salesperson. And my point is, invest more in yourself than you do in your career, because personal growth precedes professional growth. You build
page 27 here. Page 27. Yeah. Wow. And And yeah, I mean, I think those are valuable words, right? So some of us are kind of, I guess this is not the word I want to use, like junkies when it comes to, self development, right? And that's all well and good. You have to apply what you learn, so that's the danger of that, right? In today's world, there's so many blogs, so many podcasts, so many books, so many listicles on Reddit and things, where you could suppose, and now there's AI, right? Where you can just, teach me how to, do this and it'll give you something back. And I think we lose the idea that we need to apply that consistently over time
Yeah.
and see if that's actually helping us. But and the way I show up at work, I mean, I'm a believer in this, is like you can't show up one way at home and another way at work. You just can't. You're a
One of the
person, a
techniques I've
whole
learned,
person.
one of the techniques I've learned is to ask what people value. I do it in a number of ways.
Hmm.
But early when I was starting to use this, I would say things like, John, I'm confident we can help you solve this. How do I transfer that confidence to you? And I'll let you tell me. Proposal. Who else have you used? Can I get a third party reference? In my case, can we see you in action? I got videos of you. And the fourth
Hmm.
thing I was getting before COVID was, let's look at calendars. If I'd already convinced them that I was the guy, when they say look at calendars, they close for me.
For you.
And the other thing I've learned to use, which is my favorite question, is what's in it for you? If we can help you do that, what's the benefit to you? The greatest answer I've ever received in the history of mankind, working with a guy named Dan who owned a manufacturing company in Illinois. He was down making calls with a sales rep. He has 16 sales reps throughout the nation, all remote. Dan, if we
Hmm.
can help your guys be more productive, what's the benefit to you? Now, in the old days, I said, if we could help you achieve this, would you buy from me? That's old sales
Hmm.
because the last word is me. But John, if we
Right.
can help you move forward, what's the benefit to you? Without hesitation, Dan said, the benefit to me, I'll be able to put 70 years of cash away from my little girl who will never be self-sufficient.
Hmm.
What? So here's the deal. He has two daughters at the time, two daughters under 10. The older girl was fine. The younger girl diagnosed with severe autism. And what he was telling me, can you put me in a position where I can build my company through sales, and either make it attractive enough to sell it or make it attractive enough for me to make sure my older daughter is not burdened by her sister and make sure that that younger girl has a secure future. Wait a minute, I'm a sales trainer. No, I'm a problem solver. No, I help people reach their goals. No, I help people come around and reach home safely. But I would have never have gotten that answer had I not asked the question. And
Hmm.
that's a strong. I got kids. I understand that. But some people have told me the benefit to me, I'll get out of this one horse town. They wanted a promotion. Somebody said,
Right.
"Well, I don't know you well enough, but just say financially I'll be in better shape." But they tell you to the level of your relationship with them.
Hmm.
But I want to sell to that. That's what I don't want to pluck heartstrings. But look, Dan, I'm going to put you in a position where your salespeople will learn how to close and win more market share. And I think that you'll reach your goal faster, quicker, better that way. I can't reach the goal for him, but I can put him in a position where he and his people can reach that goal. That's what I do for a living.
Yeah, that's strong, and really that's when it becomes fun, when you have these relationships where someone's willing to share that, right? And then that yeah, I mean, then then we're all going to go the extra mile, right? But what has to happen for us to deliver on that? And I know it's not a one and done, right? With this organization, it's going to be all right, checking in. Okay, how did we hit the mark? What else is needed? That I think this is not fly over, drop something, and we'll see you later kind of training.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's right.
yeah,
But
that
you in
doesn't.
business to business sales, you're building a relationship. In retail sales, I don't do a lot of work in retail sales, but in retail sales, you go into a men's clothing Well, what are you looking for? Suits. 46 longs are over there. But I had a guy come into my office one time when I was with the Ziegler Corporation, and he had a clothing business. He came in with no swatches, no roller bag, roller suitcase. He said, "What do you do?" "I travel, I speak, and I train." "How do you want to look?" "What do you mean?" "Well, you get off an airplane in Atlanta, catch a cab, you go speak." "How do you want to look?" "Well, I want to represent the Ziegler Corporation." "You want to look professional?" "Yeah." "You want to have the confidence that you look?" "Yeah." And all I did was take my wallet out and gave it to him because nobody had ever asked me.
Right, they've never sold a suit to you that way before, right?
And I was probably
Yeah.
50 at the time, and I'd been buying men's clothes for business since I was 22, and nobody had answered that
Mhm.
question. How do you want to look in the
And in
clothes?
IBM, you had like one mode, right?
Well, I wore
White sh
14-pound wingtip shoes for 14 years. Never wore a blue shirt in my life. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I did some work with IBM very early in my career. That I was working for an IBM partner who needed some expertise in molecular modeling. So this was back in the day when they were just starting to do molecular modeling, looking at molecular structures and whatnot visually, and IBM, you guys had these high-powered workstations, right? You're familiar with all
So
that.
so typewriters.
Okay,
That's
well,
that's fast.
this was imaging visualization system, so that's
Yeah,
why we're working with
they
IBM,
wouldn't let me around that floor in the building. They'd be confused.
oh, it was I still remember, and I don't even know if it's still there in Manhattan, but it was IBM in New York City headquarters, and I would go there a couple of times a month, and I thought I was in my 20s, I thought I was all the stuff, right? So and what I quickly noticed is there was a dress code, and I wasn't really in sales at that time. I was just like a consulting chemist,
Yeah.
engineer, that kind of thing. Um, but what I realized is if I looked like them, it was easier for them to relate with me. So I was like, all right. I came home. I'm like, all right, where am I going to buy a suit that looks like this? And, it had to be a white pressed shirt. Yeah.
White
I
shirts
don't
and
know if it's
clear ties.
changed at IBM. Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't know if it's changed at IBM. Maybe it has, but I'm sure it has. I'm
It
sure
has
they've
changed, and sometimes
embraced
for the good,
casual.
sometimes yes.
Sometimes not so much, but so with the time we have left, and this has been huge, Brian. Thank you so much that we're doing two parts here. What advice would you give first to the new salesperson and then to the veteran salesperson?
This book that you showed earlier, So You're New to Sales, is not a motivational book. I try to do that in the first chapter, but it's really a process-based block and tackle how-tos. And the
Mhm.
how-tos are, what do you say when you get there? What do you say when they throw out an objection or when they have some type of resistance? You need a process to do that. So one of the things that I think is imperative is that you have a process that you trust. Secondly, these two elements are going to make or break anybody, but especially in sales. In sales, we risk hearing no more often than anybody.
Mhm.
Therefore, these two elements, your success is going to depend on your work ethic and your self-belief. I was raised by a
Mm.
baseball player. My dad told us to play all 9 innings. Don't take an inning off. When the game is over, go home. You have a family, take care of it. The game will be there tomorrow. But when you come in, you show up on time, and you show up dressed to play, and you work all 9 innings.
Mhm.
So work smart, work hard, fine. And the second thing, self-belief. Not all that I can be. I'm not all that I will be, but I'm a lot better than I used to be. And if you have that
Good.
continual learning attitude, it'll carry through a lot of bad times. I'm learning. I'm still on the anvil. I'm still being modeled and shaped and molded. I'm growing. And I want people on the grow. I don't want people who are comfortable. I want people who are out of their comfort zone trying to get better. That's who I want working for me, and
Mm.
that's who I want selling to me. I don't want a comfortable salesperson selling my home. I want an effective salesperson marketing my home, selling me
Mm.
insurance, selling me a car. So develop a work ethic, and also understand that self-belief is going to carry the day.
And for the folks that have been in the game for a while, 30 plus years, what would you say to them?
Don't read your press clippings. In other words, you've had success in the past.
You've had.
Are you growing to new success? Are you coasting?
Mm-hmm.
At IBM, we had a lot of guys that had retired but didn't tell payroll. They were getting paid, but they weren't doing much. Those are the guys that you need at some time, but not in a territory that could grow. If
Right.
your territory, if your assignment, if your responsibility was a growth, don't rest on your laurels.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And find out.
Yeah, no, that's
Salespeople hate to take records, and these CRMs really were bad for salespeople. They're looking over their shoulder thinking, let me tell you why I want a record of what you do. If you're at 120% of quota, I don't care what you do. I'm going to start your car in the morning. I'm going to give you a cup of coffee. Go get them, Tiger. But if you're at 70% of quota, you better know, and I want to know what you were doing when you're 120% of quota that you're not doing now. That's the value of a veteran sales rep. What activity, what behavior, what modification, what attitude did I have? What did I have that I was doing when I was 120% of quota that I'm not doing now? I'm in a slump. That's a great lunch conversation to have with yourself. Two things, a slump. Two things. Number one, you get in a slump because you've lost your basics. And secondly, you get into a slump because you've lost your passion. I'd much rather deal with you if you've lost your basics. Losing your passion, that's an attitude adjustment.
Yeah,
that's hard. Very difficult.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 And, you're in sales long enough, you do have slumps. It isn't always mountaintop experiences. And I've seen it where that takes some people out, right? In fact, I had a sales mentor tell me when I was in a slump, he just started asking me questions, very similar to what you're saying. Okay, what's going on? Like, what did you do last year? And, what's different? And we could always you could lean on macroeconomic, the geopolitical, you can use all the classic, but have another VP that once said, I am tired of getting on these sales calls or these forecast calls and you telling me, well, it's Christmas week and, it's the Christmas holiday and, nobody answers the phone or email and they're all out of it. And he was like, isn't it Christmas every year? Like last I checked, I just started laughing, right?
Rightly so.
I like what you said. Yeah, no, I love what he said because it is true. It's like, I tell reps, it's like, okay, understand your territory, really understand the drivers and the forces that are outside your control, right? And then to your point, understand what are you doing to excel in spite of that, and then keep inventory of that for when it is going to be Christmas, right? Because Christmas is coming, or whatever obstacle you feel is going to be in the way for your selling week or month. But yeah, this has been really rich. If people want to learn more, reach out. First of all, how do they get the book? Is Amazon the best way to do that today?
Right. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the best. I highly recommend it, having read it, and
you're underprivileged unless you've read that book. Flanagan Training Group is the name of my company, and my website is flanagantraining.com. I can be reached through
I'll put that in
email
show
at
notes.
brian@flanagantraining.com. And I still answer the phone, so my phone number is 2. I returned all phone calls and all communications within 6 months. That's what I used to do. But I do have the bandwidth right now to answer questions, comments, snide remarks. So contact me, link up with me.
Yeah.
Let's talk.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll put all that information in the show notes so that people know how to connect with you, Brian.
Yeah.
Thank you again for staying on and
You
doing
made
2
it
parts
easy.
with
Thank you.
us. No, hey, listen, I'm just at the feet of the master here, and I'm learning it, and just looking at my next 30 years in sales and how I can get better. And this is the place to start. So thank you so much for being an
Well, it was
incredible
my
amount of
pleasure.
value
I'm
to our
honored. Thank you.
listenership.
Love to talk to salespeople who are on the
Yep.
grow.
No, that's great. All right. Well, with that, we're going to end this episode, and we'll have in the show notes all the ways in which you can reach out to Bryan and connect with him. Certainly, if you liked what you heard in the last 2 episodes, share them with your fellow sales people. Understand podcasts are great. I love consuming podcasts, but there's one thing that I've learned: you have to take action, right? So if that means getting a book, if that means getting training, if that means getting Bryan to come out and talk to your organization, or for me to come out and talk to your organization, whatever that looks like, you have to take action, right? Because we can all agree, we can nod our heads here on this podcast like, that's excellent. Yes, I agree 100%. But without action, nothing happens. So a wise person said, nothing happens until somebody sells something. I don't know who am I stealing that from? Nothing happens until somebody takes action. It's one thing to agree. It's another thing to implement, right? Or execute, or whatever word you want to use in that regard. Thanks a lot for listening. And we'll be back with other episodes shortly. Bye for now.
Good luck, good selling.
Thanks so much for listening today. If you'd like more information about how I can help you and your business have an awesome impact with their selling teams, head on over to awesomeimpact.com. There you can connect with me and we can talk. If you have other suggestions about guests I can interview, let me know. We'll talk soon.